Brian. die aandacht, hè? they don't.
Do you want us to be between the lines?
Well, the Chief Inspector would confirm what I've just said.
Get Shirley to the corner.
What he said.
Hang on, shut up.
There won't be any movement out before 5:30. All right?
Speak up.
There won't be any movement out until 5:30.
I've never seen this programme.
And they have helped us to organise this dispute. Can I now say to you that the militants in this dispute are not the UCW, they're not the NCU, they're not the people out there. The militants in this dispute are in government and in the post office, because what they're attempting to do is to smash the unions in order that they can have an easy passage with the sell-off of the post office. We see Gyro Bank on the way, we know the parcel business is up next, after that the counters, and then what they will do, they will relax the monopoly.
Now, I'm Billy Hayes and the ADOL for Liverpool, Kevin Owens, will go into greater detail. But just before they speak after me, remember one thing. We will win this dispute by negotiation, and we will win it with your support. Listen to the next speakers and endorse the recommendation by the final speaker. He's interested in casuals because he's trying to break, as post office headquarters are trying to do, with post office headquarters backing, calls himself a manager and can't make decisions. He's trying to break the Liverpool amalgamated branch and the Merseyside UCW branch, and he's not going to succeed. I'll tell you this now, there's some people out there probably worried about the job, probably worried that maybe we should be going back to work. I would say to them, we're winning this dispute. The post office has lost all the propaganda arguments. And if they're so confident that they've got the arguments, I issue the challenge again at the risk of repeating myself. Mr. Gold, Mr. Child, if you're confident of your arguments, debate the matter with us on radio or TV and we'll beat your hands down.
You now. The recommendation is that we stay out. All those in favour, please show. Those against. That is carried enough. The situation is, and we've said all along,
Go on, you show your sports and social cards, dress.
Kevin!
Scabs! 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 You scabs! Scabs!
No more than a trophy show. But you just listen to me, will ya? It's been a good turnout this morning and we're winning this dispute. Right, but listen. There's going to be an ambulance coming in a moment for one of our lads who looks like he's broken trip. And when you hear the ambulance sound, it's not the sound of the scab. There's no more scabs coming in now. So when you hear the sound of the ambulance, don't rush forward and don't push. I think we should stand down now. Okay?
We'll go with him in the van. Thanks very much. Don't waste your video. Hey, Nigel! What's wrong with someone?
You like him without the specs or with?
Either way, he's still ugly.
Officer!
He's picked enough to get all the big money the other day, wasn't he, about shouting abuse, foul language with people passing by. I mean, that's...
Has been magnificent on this picket line. The Merseyside Strike Committee, with the support of the membership, have kept the casuals out. And the only way we're going to keep the casuals out is to continue this mass picket every day until we go back to work. Can't emphasise enough that you must continue mass picketing, if only keep the coppers in a bit of overtime. Sorry about that, lads. I'm not. Should have cleaned up on Michael Jackson. We'll be...
Flexible working hours. We have on the quite simple.
filming, Danny. Scab.
Like over in Japanese.
Under our conditions, you've been taken on. Don't let the Tories beat the Tories. Scabs back to work. Full time jobs on Merseyside. Don't calculate the industry.
We're not fighting for overtime. Come on, boys. We got 300.
Don't run the press. Press the kettle alive. It's not about overtime. It's about full-time jobs. Just don't let them go under. Full-time jobs on Merseyside. Halfway, sharpway. The post office today. Full-time jobs on Merseyside. Support the postman.
Strike committee. I've been invited to chair this meeting, but I've said what we do first of all, make sure that is the agreement with the people there. And acting chairman of Liverpool now, Phil Paddy. Could I first of all thank all members who used the recommendation on behalf of the committee.
What I'd like to do in my report is just explain some of the background to the situation that we're in this particular moment. First of all, the dispute commenced on the basis of drafts, the difficult recruitment area suffered. That was bad enough, but it wasn't the reason why postmen have been walking out in places where we had trouble getting them out in 1971. Staunch bastions of Toryism like Warwick and Leamington, the West Country, every town, village, country, PDO, MLO, PTO in the country. They didn't just walk out because of dress. They walked out because there is an undercurrent. There is a feeling of resentment against our employer in the post office for the way we've been treated over the last few years. Dress is bad enough. Let me just remind you that the post office, late last year, made a decision to take away the IWS. They themselves insisted that the bonuses be converted to supplements. They themselves insisted that the supplements wouldn't be paid for 12 months. It was written into the agreement, unambiguously, signed in February 1988. In March 1988, they broke it because they started paying the supplement in areas that suited them. The whole of London and selected areas in the south. So that was bad enough. But the undercurrent of the dispute concerns other things happening in our area. It concerns delivery postmen who come back late off delivery or who come back on their normal time, 9:30, and are accused of willfully delaying the mail because they bring mail back. And yet at the same time, managers cancel second deliveries and in some areas first deliveries in order to meet their budgetary restrictions. It's happening because of the way management used the discipline code against our members. It happened because of the way management are using the irregular attendance agreement against our members. And all this pent-up resentment has come out on this issue. We balanced it on the issue of drafts and we received the 2-to-1 vote in favour of industrial action. Just before the industrial action took place, the post office recognised the strength of our offer. They told us that they were going to withdraw drafts. They also said, unfortunately, that they were going to replace it, that although we were free to talk to them about the replacement, there were certain preconditions, one of which was there had to be regional pay, the principle of regional pay had to be accepted, and the second principle was if we couldn't reach agreement on the replacement, they would impose it anyway. You've got to remember that when we take a vote on industrial action under the legislation, it only lasts for 4 weeks. If you haven't taken industrial action in 4 weeks, then the legality of it falls and you have to ballot again. So we saw their decision to remove drafts, joke over what we were asking for, but to replace it by their own arrangements as a ruse, just to get us around the table again while the ballot result ran out. Once you take industrial action on that particular issue, you never have to ballot again, and our legal advisors say we're fresh to take industrial action at any time on that one specific issue. Our task my task as one of the negotiators was to get the post office to agree to, first of all, the cessation of drafts in writing, and secondly, unconditional negotiations about recruitment and retention problems. Not about a replacement for drafts, but about addressing the problems of recruitment and retention. The reason why postmen, PhDs, etc., mainly postmen, leave the job in the Thames Valley and London are exactly the same reasons why people are dissatisfied with the job in other areas of the country. In any town or area where there is reasonable alternative employment, people leave the post office. So we are arguing with the post office that what we need is not just something for London and the South East. We need something for postmen from John Crofts to land.
Not working with Scabs.
To reject the return to work agreement. And first of all, I think it should be said from here a few words of thanks to the Trade Union Resource Centre in Harbin Street for the work that they've put in and what they've supplied us with. They're certainly open in future. The magic thing about it is the unity that's been created throughout our union the last 3 weeks has been destroyed, not by the post office, but our national officials. From the segregated area right the way through the Apple. Where do we go from there? Simple. Get out and about throughout the country. Tell off, put picket lines up. Tell officers not to hand our mail, because there's bound to be people in offices throughout the country who are unhappy with their lives. When we go back to Copper's Hill, we march back with our heads up high, because there'll be no defeat in this dispute. It'll be a glorious victory.
On the Thursday morning, or hoping to resume on the Thursday morning, Scabs had already been busted during the previous night. So it was obvious the post office was waiting for the opportunity to smash the branch policy, which has always been no casual labouring on Merseyside branch. From that day, 1st of August, September, we've camped outside those gates morning, noon and night, or the minority of us have. We've been there. On the panto, I tried to do this as an individual, but also I would condemn the management, because when we asked for their support on the Friday, the first Friday of the dispute, they rejected us. Part-time Scabs. The full-time Scabs, there'd be no part-time. Intimidation from the Scabs inside the barbed wire. We've also got a permit, we've got a licence to go down the building, drop his shell next to it. A week ago today, at the pier head, the platform addressed us. We were like a town support. We were all clapping like seals. You got our support, brothers, because what they said to us at the platform last week, we don't go back to casual labour. No more casual labour. What's the solution? We can see more campbed outside Copper's Hill. Every time you arrest us outside the picket lines, we're winning the fight, brothers. Mass pickets is the answer, brothers, but now you score the ridicule on their tactics. I say no. That piece of paper is not worth it. It's what it's written on, and I oppose. Thank you.
I'll come up here to tell you, or ask you, to kick this out. This agreement stroke sham. My disapproval stroke disgust. We should show our disgust at it by kicking it out. People turn around and have said to me, how's the dispute going? It's been going great. And it will go on being great. Do you know why? Because we will win this. Mr. Johnson, go when you return to London. And you're having your little version of Mr. Trump. I'll tell you something. Give him a bit of advice here. He wants to give him a bit of advice to write his life as a union official in the UCW and put it into a novel. Because you know why? It'll be sold out. Just like the membership out there.
Gary Abbott, PhD, MLA, to support the recommendation. The first thing might I say, that I do know all the sentiments. I know about the battle. I've been there. You've got three options here. The first one, which would be very easy to do if we're led with our hearts and not our heads, is to reject this recommendation. If you do that, it's an all-out strike from Liverpool. And we all know Liverpool is isolated. Where's our backing from the region? Where's our backing from the rest of the country? We're going to take them on here. We'll be on our own. Pickets throughout the rest of the country to stop them doing our work. I'm sorry to say, although we've had a good turnout first thing in the morning, in the evening we've had a little bit of a problem having pickets on our own. 7 o'clock last night, there was none there. Easy to do, but let's think about it before we make rash decisions. The second option, some of you might remember a little town down the M53 who came up to Liverpool and said to us, we've got trouble. Our pickets are being beaten up by Scabs. Will you please come and help us? Their option was to go back to work at the first opportunity with no return to work agreement. You can do that if you want. But thirdly, the third option is to support this recommendation because these lads haven't sold us out at all. They've done the best job they can for us. They got the best deal that we could possibly get. If we carry this on, we'll be isolated and Mr. Gold to be made up because he will sit back in his office and say that he doesn't have to abide by that agreement. He will sit back and wait until we crawl back and beg for our jobs. And it's one thing we're not going to do, because if we go back to work, it will be in unity, it will be with dignity, and we'll all march back together, and we will turn that agreement to our advantage, using the sections and the section secretaries once we're back in that building. Support that recommendation.
The proposals from management were 60 casuals. When we seem to have got it down to the northwest standing on their own, we now have 30 casuals. So negotiations can go on if we're on our own. As you soon to be known, I'd like to say this. It's all right for him to stand up to UC conference and say we are going to fight the casualisation of our industry. But we in Liverpool took him to his word and we stood up and we fought casualisation. All he done was after his speech was walk back to his seat, stand in ovation, sit down on his ass, and he hasn't really all sins in this issue. I'd like him to go back and tell him that we're going to stay out and fight this, and that we want him to pull everyone out and let's get this fight war.
Bob Simpson, PhD MLO. I always say PhD, but under this dispute I was going to drop it, but I thought people might think I was being sarcastic. Because under this dispute, I just feel like saying a member of the Liverpool Amal. Because that's what we've became. We've stopped calling ourselves PhDs, postmen, cleaners, doorkeepers, MCU and what. We've been united under this. And that's what I'm afraid of. And I support this resolution for two main reasons. And I hope you bear with me while I explain fully both of them. And the first reason I support it is because I believe it's the best you're going to get. Not the best I want. I would like complete surrender by the post office. Make no mistake about that. But I have to be realistic, and I'll tell you now, I don't believe you're going to get complete surrender if you stay out as long as the miners. And I don't think there's any chance of that. I believe there's wording in there that personally I had my heart out to see whether I could live with them. Because as part of it, I've had to do torment myself to say, can I live with this? And at the end of the day, my answer to myself, and I'm a bit potty, so I do answer myself, is yes, I can live with this. I have to live with this. And it comes on to the second point. Why do way of PhD, postman cleaners, we're all united. NCU are with us. The CNC were with us. But if you don't watch it, and I say that it's 71, and people say, we hope 71 will never be mentioned again. But you know, only fools don't learn from experience. And in 71, on the 6th and 7th week, when all the rest were going back, and it'll happen here, because you know, right now, we're picketing to keep casual scabs out. But I'll tell you now, I don't want to be on that picket line in 3 or 4 more weeks' time, picketing to keep half the men in this room out, and that's what'll happen. I was really worried about the 60 Kazis. I'll take 30, or I'll take them as associated AGs, or I'll do this. You know, you don't do that in negotiations. Billy was trying to put the bottom line. It's like negotiations when you want 20% pay rise. You don't start saying, well, I'll accept 10, or, you know, in a push. You don't say it in public meetings. And if anybody expected Billy to say any different from the rostrum, I know the hardest man to swallow this, even harder than I've had to swallow, is Billy Hayes. But, you know, Billy did say something that nobody else has mentioned here today. You know, we've all asked, what did you say? What did you say? But I remember the first strike committee meeting, which was the Friday after our National Day of Strike, which was about the 2nd of September. And Billy Hayes said at that meeting, and let any referee deny what he said, and that was, we might not win it, but we've got to fight it. And that's what Billy said, and I don't think he's turned one iota. He said at that meeting we might not win, but we'll get the best we can, and we'll give the best fight we can. And that's what we've done. But colleagues, let's go back united, or we'll scramble back individually. And I don't want that. Thank you.
Kevin Eves got up before and said that what Trump should do is write a novel of his history of the trade union movement. He couldn't write and say trade union, and especially Trump is say one. Do anyone here tell me one good deal Alan Trump did about with anybody? IWM, split us to bits. RULC, RRP, overturn Connor's decision. You name it, and he sold us down there on it. But I want to get back to our one thing now. Now, one thing that I understand, and I do understand it, is that sooner or later, you make a stance, the management make a stance. But one thing I understand is that I know you've both got to start moving, right? I understand that. You've got to beat the tactical retreat. But this isn't the right one, brothers, because what I'm telling you, our section, we've been fighting to keep part-time jobs out. Now, I know Billy said a job's a job, be it full-time or part-time, but I was always under the illusion that when Billy got up the other day and said, we want jobs, he didn't go, part-time jobs.
Johnson. Now, when we talked about the 60 coming in and burning them off, as John Owens just said, that is natural wastage, Mr. Gould didn't want to know. But later on, when Les was speaking, in answer to a question I put, he said, well, I explained why yesterday it was another name for Kazis, is that when they're in, people like me can go up and negotiate with a dummy. Somebody like Terry Olsey, who's acting MLO manager. The same Terry Olsey, apparently, who never opened his mouth all during the negotiations. He just stood there looking evil. I'm supposed to be able to negotiate. I am supposed to negotiate, and this is more or less Les Paddy's words, that when we go back under this, that the 30 are going to be burned, who are going to be sort of temporary, I'll be able to negotiate with Olsey to keep them permanent. Now, honestly, Les, I wish that was correct. Come on, mate, I want to hear it.
Their own office. I don't intend to speak for long, but everything has been said enough today. The crux of this matter is quite simple. Are we going to return to work with casual labour? The platform can call it what it wants. It is temporary employment. It is supplementary staff. It is casual labour. So that's the decision you're going to make. It's
been a policy, and I thank God for that policy, of no casual labour in Liverpool. What this recommendation is to go back with casual labour. I thank Les for the assistance he's offered that I might need to make these people into proper associate grades, because they're not proper associate grades. And if we go back, I'll give a commitment that I'll try my utmost to do what I can for the UCW. But what I want to know is, from that UCW, is what happened to Alan Tuffin? Now, I don't know whether I've seen a part of the Muppet Show or something on the Niagara Reports the other night, but there was a fella on there who said there will be no one in isolation. I also read a press statement. Mr. Tuffin said that if it's not all settled, by Monday, I will call a national stoppage. Can someone tell me what's happened to this national stoppage? Because it hasn't happened as far as I know. We have been let down by the National Union. Why they didn't call a national strike weeks ago? I'm still bewildered, and Alan didn't answer that. Alan Tuffin has let us down. He's got to be told. Now, I'm up here to support the recommendation for two reasons. One, to support my branch officials, elected by me, elected by you, to fight and negotiate on your behalf, which is what they have been doing for the last 3 weeks. Secondly, because I personally think it is the best way for the future of the Liverpool Amalgamated branch. There was a great union man, you know, called Jack Jones. Yeah, a great union man. And he was of the firm belief that to be a good negotiator, you always had to leave an avenue of escape for your opponent. And this is what these lads here have done. Muhammad, sitting on that hill, had to go to the mountain. Nowhere to go. Muhammad went to the mountain, which is here. He's had to step down. He's had to take a step down. Now, what I'm saying to you is, when we go back, allow these branch officials to at least be able to go in there, into that room, and negotiate with dignity and without their hands behind their back or a cat eating humble pie.
Order, please. I told you I'm disappointed. I'm also a realist. I'm an elected official. I've got a responsibility to the membership. We came back with the only solution that we could find as a compromise. We looked upon it as a way we weren't winning, yet we weren't losing. And it was the same for post office management.
We won't be treated in isolation. Nobody's mentioned, by the way, that we stopped contract drivers coming in. Remember that demand last week? Stop contract drivers coming in. Nobody's mentioned that. And when people talk about the docks, burning off jobs, you know what, John? When you talk about burning off jobs, I call that redundancy after whatever decision we make here today. But I have a responsibility. We have a responsibility for every single member in this branch, and not just our friends. Not just the lads on the picket line, the lads and lasses on the picket line. That's what we're talking about. And you must know that those people that stayed at home and watched the telly, they must be thinking, how can we possibly win when everybody else has got casuals except us, and we're the only branch in the country that's staying out on strike. That's the central issue. Can we win on our own? Well, if you decide today to stay out on strike, the officials on this platform will respect that decision and we'll fight for you. But you see, and I'm done it myself, it's very easy in a room like this, with all your mates, to make rousing speeches, to get the cheap laughs. Well, I'm not interested in cheap laughs. I'm not interested in getting applause. I want to keep me friends that said, reject the deal, but I'm interested in leading a united branch. I'm interested in protecting your interest. We don't spend day in, day out negotiating because we want cheap laughs, cheap applause. See, it's great in this game as a union official. When everyone says you're right and you get a round of applause, it's fantastic. But when everyone says you're wrong, it's not that nice. But what you've always got to do as a negotiator is determine what's the correct course of action. Not make easier, popular statements, but tell the membership the truth. We've never lied to you. We've never told lies. Alan Johnson will tell you, when we go to our annual conference, we say what Liverpool thinks. We don't go there with open... Just to what Billy Ashton said about Mr. Gould. Reopen negotiations. Reopen negotiations. Well, Bill, there's nothing to negotiate about. Absolutely nothing to negotiate about. Because the central demand, those opposed to the deal is, their CAGs, take them on full time, or we won't go back to talk. Now you tell me, what is it to negotiate about? In all honesty, I'm telling you now. If you want it, if that's what you want us to do, and stay out on strike, fine. But I tell you what, Alan Johnson won't be going to see anyone, because I'll be telling Alan Johnson, if you vote to stay out, Alan, stay where you're at, because there's nothing to talk about. Just send Gould a letter, do that, we're back. Do that, and we'll come back. The movement members, he will have to. He will have to be seen to crush us, and that's what it's about. We would win, we have won, don't bet that victory.
Those again, that's overwhelmingly carried.